Happy to have on the phone line right now Sean Murphy. We're talking about the Sandman, the tugboat Sandman. You can find it online, tugsandman.org, and you can see it in downtown Olympia. Good morning to you, Sean. How you doing?
Well, good morning, sir. How are you?
I am
doing
well.
Fine myself.
Good. Thanks for calling in and talking to us. I have for years seen the Sandman in downtown Olympia at Percival Landing, kind of sometimes moored right next to the Oyster House there, this 100-plus-year-old vessel. Tell me about the Sandman and what the Sandman Foundation has been working on recently to get the boat up and looking sharp for folks when they come visit, like for events like Harbor Days.
Well, first of all, for those that aren't familiar with it, it was launched in 1910.
Wow.
So we're talking 108 years old. Currently, the boat is on the hard, meaning it's in dry dock. Ostensibly, we're planning it to have it out within 2 weeks, 3 weeks at the most. What is happening is when you dry dock them like we are, you're maintaining the integrity of an old wood boat like that. There's some planking work being done in the hull, primarily back in the stern area. The tug is looking pretty strong, but like anything of that age, that size, use, it takes money and it takes time, and the volunteers are the ones doing it. The boat has always been out of Olympia. So anyone growing up over the years would have been used to seeing the tug. It's still there. Our focus really is educating people, trying to introduce them to not only the tug, but what it did, why it did it, where it did it, what was its primary purpose, towing barges of sand and gravel. Afterwards, it towed barges of oysters, towed logs, things of that nature. And we're open to the public on Saturday and Sunday, primarily. We're open usually 5 hours. Some of us, when we're the docents, we might open even earlier, sometimes stay later, depending on the amount of people coming. But it is free to the public. Obviously, we like donations. We're relied heavily on donations and grants. So anything that people are willing to help us out with is certainly something we can use. What are your questions that you would like to ask?
Well, I think, Sean, what I want to know is how long, what originally, so if it's a 1910, what on it still, is there still a lot from the original from 1910 that you guys have been able to keep restored and looking good for folks?
Oh, yeah. I mean, like, for example, the winch is original. If you look in the galley, you'll see things in the galley. For those that aren't familiar with the term, the kitchen.
Yeah.
You'll see things in the wheelhouse. Yes, obviously, there has been restoration work that was necessary because it did sink. And it was over at Swantown, and what happened was the pumps quit. In October of 1998, the bilge pump quit. I've heard that, I was told it quit because there was an electrical outage of some sort. The pump quit working and it sank.
How long have you been working on the Sandman?
I moved back from Arizona a couple of years ago, and I got involved just a few months later.
How did you get involved? Or why?
Well, first of all, prior to getting involved, I had been working on a maritime research project of my own. And my son, who was living in Olympia, said, "Dad, you need to go down and see the Sandman."
Yeah.
And so I did. That was it. I was hooked. I do research projects, currently researching a maritime project of another nature. And so I got involved with the Sandman, volunteered last year for Olympia Harbor Days. And anyone that's been around Olympia Harbor Days, they always could use volunteers.
Oh, yeah.
That is that weekend of Labor Day weekend.
One of the
culminated in the tugboat races. We are planning on having the tug in the race this year.
Oh, wouldn't that be something? One thing
And
about
it
the look
was-
of the Sandman, it looks not like a traditional tugboat that people are familiar for current time. Was this the look of the tug back then, or was it primarily thought to initially be used as a different purpose? I mean, it doesn't.
No,
have
no,
the
it was
stocky-
built. It was built in Tacoma, Old Town Tacoma, by Crawford and Reed Shipyard, and it was built for a man named Arthur Weston, who owned the Olympia Sand and Gravel. So it's always been designed, built for tugboat work. When it comes to tugs, there's a particular different. Well, I shouldn't say particular. There are different designs even back then. But the lines to the Sandman, to anyone that's into tugboating, the lines are very beautifully done. I'm talking about the way it was designed and built.
Yeah.
Tugs are built for a purpose, as we both know. But then in the design, it's the practicality of what you're using it for will go into the design. This was towboating, meaning it was primarily built to tow.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so you'll see lines that may be different even back then when a tug might have been used for pushing more. There would be additions to the tug that you might not see in the event of the tug being only used for towing.
You're able to
ahead.
find them, find the Sandman on Facebook. We'll put the links to these when we post this interview. And again, hopefully we'll see the Sandman during the Harbor Days Tugboat Festival, which is coming up August 31st through September 2nd. It's a great thing in downtown Olympia, and anybody who's spent any time driving around the downtown area has surely seen the Sandman serving the Puget Sound since 1910. So you say it's open to the public and free of charge on most weekends. The Facebook page or the website, tugsandman.org, are great places for folks to understand if the boat's going to be available for viewing.
Yes, and the other thing I really, really would like to get out to the public is, as in any foundation of this type, we can use more volunteers. There's never too many of them.
Sure.
And someone does not have to be trained as a crew person. They don't have to be mechanically inclined.
Oh.
There is openings for every type of person that wants to get involved. You may just come down, learn the tug's history, learn about the tug, and just be willing to walk people around, showing them the tug, explaining the tug. There's other people that are into the mechanics that are work on the engine and keep the thing running. There are people like right now down there giving a lot of hours, taking planks off, putting new planking on. There's any number of ways a person can get involved. A person, if they happen to have a few extra bucks, can certainly get involved from a financial standpoint. They might be someone that can help get the word out. That may be their part of volunteering, getting the word out to foundations, to companies. Maybe they're really good at grant writing. There's all kinds of ways that we could get people to help them to be a part of our foundation.
That would be really cool, and not too bad to spend a few hours on a beautiful vessel out on the water. The National Historic Vessel at Percival Landing is the Sandman. It's been serving the Puget Sound since 1910, online at tugsandman.org, and we'll put the links to that again in the show notes. Sean, it's been really nice talking with you this morning, and I look forward to stopping by and seeing the boat a little more up close and personal.
Well, we'd sure love to have you come down.